from Mommy and
Hello,
Daddy.
ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Footprints. I am your host, Anthony Davis. I'm an educator at BHS. That's Beverly High School for those folks who don't know. And joining me today is a gentleman who I say is unapologetically, say that 5 times fast, edgy, right? Ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, Footprints neither condones nor endorses what he's about to say, but we do guarantee it'll push some buttons and it'll brace yourself. It'll be funny. It'll be awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, joining me today on Footprints is David Earl Williams. Let's welcome David Earl Williams to the show. Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey there.
How you doing?
The absurdulation.
Okay. So David has a bunch of different things that he's going to talk about. First, he wants to tell me a joke. I think it was a joke. You said you were.
We're gonna get to the joke first.
Yeah, we're gonna get to the joke.
It's my sense of humor, so
okay, so it's
sure to offend someone.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, we that's what we like to do here. We like to push the envelope.
Wait a second. Let me start that over.
Go ahead.
Says the Academy Awards. I'd like to seize this opportunity to do a land acknowledgement for the Pretendians. For surely this is their cultural landscape that we are all now sat down upon. And in addition, I'd like to take this opportunity to salute all those living on groupthink lands where no one is illegal, but many, well, really, any critical reasoners are unwelcome. Available now in anti-ICE, gender, Hamas, and BLM flavors.
Oh
Freedom Rapist fan club flag wavers line up here to the authoritarian fall left for awards, prizes, film, and book contracts, please.
So ladies and gentlemen, what you just heard, again, is the opinion of David Earl Williams, poet.
I'm just quoting him.
Yes, indeed. He's just quoting him. So tell me a little bit about how you got into this whole thing. How did you become a poet, so to speak?
Well, wasted youth, whatever.
Yeah,
I was
mine
a
too.
maladjusted child. I had emotional problems.
As we all do.
I wrote a little thing in my first chapbook, Everybody Lives Here, one night at a time. That's my doodle on the front.
I like that. So just in case you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, what a chapbook is, it's basically like a small handmade or simply printed booklet, usually between 20 and 40 pages. It kind of contains poetry, short stories, all kinds of different things in it, right? You think of it like a mini literary sort of magazine or a starter publication, basically, as you will, right?
A pocket book.
Yeah,
whatever.
a pocket book, okay.
It's from Wet Cement Press in Berkeley.
Okay.
I was actually just sending stuff out, and they said, we like your stuff, we'd like to do a book. So,
interesting.
Which was nice.
Read us something from your chapbook, sir, if you will.
Okay, well, this is to your question. The Poet Speaks. I come at all of this poetry business by way of theater, by way of Sophocles and Shakespeare, I reckon, but also B. Brecht and the idea of the estrangement effect applied to poetry. And by way of Chomsky's dictum that the only real difference between a dialect and a language is that the language has an army and a navy. And by way of Charles Olson's projective verse essay, which also gave me another permission, I felt, to do what I wanted to do, which was to create little engaging, strange and absurd, shepherdish stage monologues. Because I also come at all of this by way of failure. I'm a failed actor, a failed stage director, a failed playwright, not totally failed, but failed anyway. I made a living here and there, but finally it got too hard. Poetry, I can do. I can afford to do it. Failure doesn't really matter. Failure is the nature of the business of living and getting on with living and writing poetry. I recently had a run of 48 consecutive rejections. Ha, I said, and then cried into my pillow, sob.
48
As an
rejections.
old failed actor, I can tell you that your feelings are fickle. So don't put your hearts into all of them, kids. Get on with it.
Okay.
It'll be over soon enough. Rosebuds, right? Fail better, says Beckett, another great stage poet. And I can take my time while living the menial life with poetry. Years of time. A lot of my pieces have hung around in my notebooks for 10, 20, 40 years until I forgot them. And then came a day that's not too long ago, and I rediscovered them thinking, oh, what's this? And then I attached a new ankle bone to a old leg bone, and here we are, entertained with a little spicy mustard on it, I hope.
I love spicy mustard, by the way.
And this seems like a good place to end because I am getting to be an old man, and I could go on and on and on. Is everybody confused enough? Because
Yes.
that's a good place to be too, I think.
Exactly.
Let the piece itself tell you to do what you'd never think of doing on your own. I think Olson said that. Right?
Interesting. So, not bad. Now, your humor kind of walks the line between satire, provocation, and absurdity, right?
Yeah.
So now, was that kind of intentional?
Yes.
Versus sort of like letting your mind sort of wander, or?
Yeah, well, Dada is a movement to speak nonsense to official nonsense.
Okay, he's speaking about hillbilly Dada, ladies and
Yeah,
gentlemen.
hillbilly. Well, I'm a hillbilly.
Well, no, but
I am a hillbilly. Yeah.
no, but he is. All right, so tell me a little bit more about this.
But I'm an anti-Dadaist.
Okay.
Because Dada has become the official, the official thought form now. Whatever, everything is. Everyone's yelling 2 + 2 = 5, with a lot of conviction.
Yeah.
And I don't care where you go in the political landscape or cultural or whatever. That's what they're doing. And I'm just over here saying 4. That's anti-Dada.
Okay.
And that's provocative.
All right, I like that. So now, do you think comedy and poetry sort of like are more alike than people think, or?
Oh yeah. I think jokes are small poems, good jokes are. I mean, they've got a 3 beat, so it's like a 4-line poem or whatever. Bang, 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 bang.
Okay.
There's a
All right.
rhythm, and you get a payoff at the end.
No doubt. So now, is humor sort of in writing like just a mask, or is it a lens to reveal people's really kind of deeper truths of what they're really feeling?
Well, I think you figure out what you're after, or whatever, as you go through it. You have to take the journey.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't.
It's a thought-provoking question.
Personal stuff is not all that important.
Right. Right. I understand that.
You know
That's
what I
really
mean?
important. You're right.
I mean,
it's not.
But I'll read you my bio from my second book, whatever. And
Now,
this will tell you what I think about identity.
This is from your chapbook.
Yeah.
And what's the name of the chapbook again?
This first one is Everybody Lives Here, One Night at a Time.
Okay.
That's from
Show that in the camera.
Wet Cement Press.
There it is right there, ladies and
Berkeley.
gentlemen. Make sure you go get that. That's
Wet
important.
Cement Press. Go
I
to
love it.
David Earl Williams, Google David Earl Williams poetry, and you can find links to all this stuff.
Sweet. And the second one is?
Second one is AI Yokohama Yankees 12, AI Rio Atlanta Dantes 36 long, 12 inches, mysteriously tied after 9, or the sock puppet melodrama.
The sock puppet melodrama.
And
So-
other anti-Dadaist poetry.
Yeah, I
by
like that one.
David Earl Williams, The Absurd Legend. That's my newest one. That came out last August.
That's nice. I like that one. That's a play on words, ladies and gentlemen.
And that's from,
for those folks who don't know.
I don't know why, but it's from an experimental press, c22.wordpress.com. C22 Press.
Okay.
They're down in Australia or whatever. And
So before you read the next poem, I got a
Yeah.
question. So can poetry sort of, I don't know, challenge social norms without
course.
really alienating the reader, you think? Or is it sort of, or is that part of the point of it?
it depends on the reader or whatever, and it also depends on what you're looking for in your poetry.
Okay.
I mean, I spend a lot of time. I really like poetry. I love it, but I'm also highly critical of it. So I read a lot of poetry, and most of it after 2 or 3 I get a book or whatever, you know, and I go, I read this before. He's just vomiting up something that somebody else said someplace else better,
Right.
you know, or it's just stupid. You know, you think you're waving a flag instead of doing something.
I love it.
Or whatever.
I love it. So let's remember, ladies and gentlemen.
But I found a guy just last night.
You did?
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's a good thing.
And I ordered 2 of his books.
I like it. So just so we're clear, ladies and gentlemen, the name of this particular Footprints episode is Legacy in Motion, David Earl Williams, Unfiltered. And these are some of his writings and his works, his poetry that he's sharing with us here today on Footprints. We want to figure out where his footprints started and how he ended up here. I'm going to ask him a bunch of questions. Before you read that, tell me a little bit about family life. What were your parents like? What did they leave any type of footprint on you? Was your mom or dad in the arts of like writing or anything like that?
No. I come from a working class home. There are very few books.
Okay.
The first house I was in, you know, had a pump well in the front yard and an outhouse in the back. There was
kind of like me, the horse and buggy.
There was no running water or whatever. That's what I first remember. And it was on my grandparents' farm. They were very young, my parents. My dad went to the 8th grade. My mom went to the 5th. My mom grew up desperately poor. And at the end of the hollow in Appalachia, the further you get from the main road, the poorer you are. And that's where we were.
That's where you were, right there, huh? So those are the work ethic, excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, that your parents laid on you later on drove you sort of this way. So how did you come to become a poet? Like, what were some of those early breadcrumb footprints? How did those lead you to where you are now?
I don't know. I was, you know, I wasn't good at I wasn't big, and I was short, skinny, slow, and uncoordinated.
So you weren't going to be an athlete.
I played ball anyway because it was a small school. But and I mean, I was like Mikey. I gave it my all. Man.
Yeah.
Ask Williams to do it. He'll throw him in there. He doesn't care if he gets killed. Or whatever. And I didn't kill.
Okay.
As long as somebody said, you know, good job.
Yes.
Or whatever, I was fine with it. But I was also moony and romantic, and I like to read.
Okay. So there it is, right there. Hold on.
I like to read.
You like to read. So that kind of started you down the path of those are the footprints right there that kind of led you to where you are today, right? Because it doesn't begin until that happens.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so there you are, leading those footprints and kind of, well, sort of using them, getting to the point where you are today in your career.
Well, I wrote, where I am is pretty low, but it's fine by me. I mean, I'm very grateful that these people have shown an interest in me and are willing to publish my stuff. I don't have to lay out bucks, and I didn't have to go begging anybody to do it.
Well, I can tell you, by that what you're saying is you're really passionate about what you're doing, which is really a great thing. Like when you find your passion in life, ladies and gentlemen, that's the biggest thing that you can ever do is find your passion and then start to be engaged with it, right? Because I think that's important. That's one of the best things you can do for yourself. And once you do that, you find yourself, now you can share some things with the world and leave a footprint on the world, which is what you're doing through your poetry.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good thing. It's beautiful.
Right.
I call it organized confusion, by the way.
Okay, great.
Just so you know.
Yes, well, that kind of describes my life.
I like it. I mean, well, you said you failed at a lot of things, right?
Oh,
and
yeah,
we
yeah,
always
yeah.
fail, but I can tell you something as a coach and an educator. When you're failing at something, you're actually succeeding,
You're
which is
learning.
interesting,
Yeah.
right? So tell us now, read us something from the next book.
Okay, this is called Bio, this is what it is. David Earl Williams has been his alias since birth, and he's not changing it. To be sure, you'd have to ask his mother and grandmothers to know the truth, but you can't ask them. They're sleeping now with the Hopewell and the Adena, who want their land back from the Cherokee and the Shawnee once they've head-tripped it back from the mostly, but not exclusively, European rejects who are sitting on it now. All that can be said about the alias, for sure, is that it's a little like Mike Fink, king of the river pirates. It's fluid. Half water snake, half beaver, half bear, half alligator, half Blevins, half Fife, maybe half Williams, maybe a little bit McCoy. Yes, those McCoys, and Bad John Phillips. If you can believe the second cousins thrice removed, and probably you can't. Anyway, his ID is just like everybody else's. It's being made up daily, cut like a suit to fit the dummy wearing it. Or at least it is until somebody cries, bullshit. That doesn't belong to you. You narcissist, you, and makes it stick. But until then, David Earl Williams, he's just like you. Dear reader, one of a kind and a representative of millions, the vessel of all their grievances and glories, la-dee-da, like he came this way, quality stamped and assured, straight from a furious little factory somewhere down around his mother's pelvis, billowing a camouflaging chimera of self-protective smoke into the always imminent abyss.
Okay. Boom, boom. I feel like we should have a little like drum roll at the end of it.
Hopefully,
You know
my
what I
stuff,
mean?
people get my humor. Hopefully,
Yeah. Well,
you know.
I kind of get
And
it.
also that I'm giving a lot of stuff, the kind of the go by, or whatever.
So, absurd. What is it? Absurd. Absurdism.
Absurdist.
Absurdist.
Yeah.
That's how you say it.
absurd.
Okay.
Absurdulation.
Okay.
whatever.
So break that down for the listeners so they kind of understand what you mean by that.
Well, absurdulation is a Appalachian who's absurd,
Okay.
and I certainly is because I haven't lived in Appalachia for 40 years,
Okay.
and I'm still an Appalachian, and I'm still absurd. Whatever. Most of what I've heard people saying around me, my adult life, and I was draft age during the Vietnam War, or whatever, and all that stuff. About 60 to 70% of it has been complete horse hockey. I mean,
Okay.
common knowledge. Everybody says, "Oh, sure, yeah, that's true. Yeah, okay, yeah, I can
Absolutely.
get with that, whatever." And and it's out of the air. Everybody goes in that direction. One social contagion after another, or whatever.
Interesting.
And we're just in, we're a culture, we're a world, and it doesn't matter if you're socialist or in the East or if you're capitalist, super capitalist here. That's not the dividing line. It's advertising. Everybody is advertising. Everybody is selling. The Chinese are selling. The Russians are selling.
I think
the
you're right.
Somalis are selling.
A lot
We're
has to do
selling,
that with-
Everybody's selling, and it depends on what you're buying. And people are just buying like crazy.
Yeah, well, it's funny you said that because so I'm thinking about it, right? Social media has a lot to do with it, right?
Yeah.
Because you see things in their face
But-
all the time, right?
Yeah.
And so that kind of influences the way you think, the way you buy, the way you act, all those things, right? Now, let me ask you this because I thought this has kind of been on my mind a little bit. Is there a moment when the absurd becomes more truthful than the conventional meaning itself? What do you think? Because I'm thinking about this, and I like exactly where you're going. And you're kind of like giving us a little glimpse of your humor and your personality along with these poems.
I don't know, but I can tell you how it acts.
Okay.
This is how it acts. No one expects the Cultural Revolution, said the Spanish Inquisition at the Father's Day dinner for Murderers Without Borders and the International Double Red Cross.
Okay. I understand that. I do. I kind of like that. That's interesting. Tell me about Oddball Magazine. How did you hook up with those guys, and how did they get your writings?
They were just in the queue, and there's a couple of places you can go and see who's open for submissions, and I just sent them in a couple of things.
Okay, and they loved it.
So they took a couple of my things, yeah. They're a nice little place, whatever. I haven't been able to land with them since they took a couple of things a couple of years ago, but But there you go.
I like it. So let's discuss this a little bit. These pieces, to me, feel a little bit chaotic on the surface.
Yes.
But how much hidden logic do you think is embedded in these intentionally?
Well, as I said earlier, and this is an idea that I'm beating myself to death with anymore because I've been reading Orwell. Orwell said, and it's early on, it's Winston or whatever says to himself or whatever in 1984, he says, 2 + 2 is 4. And the freedom to say that is everything. Everything follows from it. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to say, this 5 stuff don't add up.
Doesn't add up.
This is 4.
Yeah. Okay.
It's still 4.
All right. Now, do you write with the reader in mind, or is there more like you kind of overhearing a conversation in your head?
I'm my own ideal reader and writer. And
Okay.
all that stuff. So I write because, in a sense, because nobody else is writing what I want to read.
So you figured I'd just do it myself?
Yeah.
Why not? There's always do-it-yourself kits around. Why not do it yourself? It's the best way. Usually, that's original, and you do it yourself, and people respect that. I like that. Now, between your chapbooks, how has your style sort of shifted? Has it shifted at all?
Yeah,
over the years?
My first book is a little bit, well, it's just a little bit, whatever, is kind of just earlier work that came to the fore. I've made a couple adjustments since then, and Yokohama is more like, it's a little more mature, I think. Whatever.
Okay.
I mean, I have a couple of things if I could go back. Not that I think it's a good book, but I would change a couple of lines here and there. And
Okay.
everybody lives here. Maybe 2-3 lines I would change.
Okay.
Whatever, just a little bit. But I could probably go through here and do the same thing.
So now let me ask you this. How does one make a living
I don't make a living.
doing this?
If
Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to purchase any of these chapbooks, please, by all means, support
I get
my guy
royalties
right here. You got to
can
support.
Go to C22 Press. You can you can download this experimental press. We don't expect any money. You can go there. You can download a free PDF of the book
How about that?
and read it. Or if you really want it in this spiffy print with my spiffy art on the cover, my doodle, you can also order one there. Actually, order 11. As Satan says, it's an easy mistake to make.
Oh, there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, David Earl Williams, okay? There he is. Now, just so you know, too, if you like our content, please subscribe to BevCam right here on YouTube. Don't forget, we are also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. And if you want to come here, sit and tell your story, please go to www.footprintsimpact.com. Fill out the guest form, ladies and gentlemen, and then come sit and tell us your story. Maybe you'll be a guy like this sitting here telling us about your particular passion.
I want to run over there to the camera and
Yeah, say hello to the camera. Okay, now, when you're performing, right?
Yeah.
What emotions or thoughts do you hope linger with the audience as you're saying these words? What do you want them to take from what you're saying?
For these, I just hope the poem goes across.
Okay.
So that I just want to do a clear, clean reading as best I can. I'm not what I used to be. Once upon a time, I was an actor. I mean,
Well, tell us about that. So, were you in any shows?
I was in a movie with Robert Redford. I have a scene with him in Brubaker. It's a prison movie.
Oh, of
which
course.
My
I know that movie
grandfather
very
was
well.
a convict or whatever.
You kidding?
Leavenworth.
How
whatever.
about that?
Yeah.
All right, so there's something we didn't know.
So,
Which generally I usually ask that question at the beginning. I say, tell me something about yourself that nobody knows.
Well,
you just gave us a little nugget
Well, I
right
was
there.
going to say, do you ask them if they have convicts in the
Well, I do not. But I'm glad you shared that
I
with
probably
me.
have. I think I have more than one.
That's awesome. Great movie, by the way, Brubaker.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah.
Tremendous. All right. So you were a failed actor. Right?
Yeah.
You did-
I wasn't all that hot on being an actor. I did some
Okay.
Shakespeare and I did some other stuff. And,
Okay.
And I did some, some small films, independent films that got on TV.
Okay.
And one of them actually won some awards. And Bill Pace, after you're out there, thanks for putting me in there.
Cool.
And I was the lead, or whatever. So one of them I liked that nobody ever sees and will never see again. And I actually liked that one a lot. The other one, not so much, and I'm kind of so-so, but, you know.
That's okay.
And then there's Brubaker and a couple of other things I did.
Wow.
And that was okay, but, you know, I directed some. My wife for years was a touring artist, and I directed her stuff
Nice.
as much as you can.
What kind of stuff did your wife do? By the way, what's your wife's name?
Alicia Quintano. She's
Okay.
a solo performer.
Is that
She's
Betty
a-
Boop?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, look at
yeah.
that, huh? See? I did a
Yeah.
little research.
Yeah. I call it that. She mostly does kids stuff now, and she writes songs for kids and stuff.
Okay.
And teaches writing workshops. Really cool ones.
Wow. How long you guys been together?
Oh, my God. Since 43 years.
Wow. 43 years.
And we've been married for almost half of it now.
My goodness. I thought I had the record. 35. I've been married 35 years.
And it's all been happiness.
Wonderful.
All the
Oh,
whole
it's
way.
been great. It's been great. 7 kids. I have 7 children.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Jesus.
4 boys and 3 girls. Yes,
Okay.
my oldest daughter's 40, Caitlin. Hello, shout out to Caitlin. And my youngest son is Ashton. He's 21. He'll be 21 in June of this year.
I did
How
not
about
have
that?
the courage for all of that.
No? No kids?
No.
How about any pets?
We got a cat.
Oh, you got a cat?
We had a cat for like 22, 23 years, a baby cat, and she died. And then we waited a couple of years, and we got this new one.
Okay.
He was not supposed to be a lap cat, and he was going to be a small cat, but it turns out that he's the size of a small dog, and his name is Thimble.
Oh, okay. Look at that.
And he wants to lay all over you no matter what you do.
Well, you know, I turned my wife from a cat person into a dog person. I did that. Well,
you
actually,
go.
it was my daughter, Jeanette. My daughter, Jeanette, had Shih Tzu puppies, purebred. We went over, and I told my wife, oh, let's just go look at the puppies. We went and looked at the puppies, and one puppy gravitated to her, had no tail. He moved like a bear, and we ended up leaving. And the next day, she's like, we have to go back and get there.
Yeah.
So there's that. I want a thought-provoking question that I'm going to say to you, and
Okay.
I want you to think about this for a second. Are we shaped more by what we hear or what we read silently? What do you think? Being on both sides of it,
I
being
think
on
we're
both
shaped-
sides of performing,
By advertising.
for sure.
I think it's the poetry of our age. It's the dominant poetry of our age.
Mm-hmm,
Memes, catchphrases,
yes.
and advertising.
Yeah.
Which is to say, people really are invested in a lot of lies, which are designed to make a sale.
Yeah, no question. Well, I mean, listen.
Regardless of whether it's a good side or a bad side, you can. That has nothing to do with it. They want to make the sale.
Yes. Hey, Mikey, he likes it. This is a catchphrase right there, right?
Yeah.
From what, Life Cereal?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Where's the beef?
Yeah.
Clara Pella, right?
Yeah.
Those are all the things that you remember. I remember those things,
Yeah,
right?
have it
As a
your
kid.
way.
Yep.
Have it
your
your
way. Yep. That's it. I mean, those are catchphrases that really stay with you. And it's interesting that you're right. They're always selling you something in the world.
Well,
That's
not
what
just
happens.
that. I mean, there's a ton of political stuff now.
Oh, for
That's
sure.
all it's the content of it is it's divorced from reality, or whatever, because there's no nuance, there's no history. It's ahistorical, and it's all selling. It's all catchphrase selling.
No question.
It's advertising as it falls out of their mouths.
It's
It's advertising.
Yeah, no question. I think everybody's selling. You're right. Something at some point. Have you ever held back a piece because it might maybe upset somebody or maybe wasn't ready to be unleashed?
No, I don't write too many pieces like that or whatever. And mostly everybody is dead now, so.
Okay.
So, and soon to be me. So, you know.
That's all right. Well, listen, one thing, ladies and gentlemen, we don't get out of this life alive, but while we're here, we can make a difference and have fun and enjoy our lives, and maybe leave a footprint on someone else that might have an avocation for doing what you're doing right now.
I want to read another short,
Go right ahead,
hopefully
sir.
funny little piece.
Go
whatever.
for it.
Okay. And the sign said, "Keep in mind, all ye who travel here, when seeking direction, even someone who doesn't know their butthole from their left or right elbow can be wrong, no matter how sure of their factual feelings they are."
Okay. Boom, boom. I always
Boom,
feel like we should have a little drum roll at the
Yeah,
end.
there
of
you
it.
go.
I always feel that.
Well, data is supposed to prick a hole.
I like
and
that.
And anti-data is supposed to pick a hole in the data.
Oh, okay. All right. I see.
Anti-data is data
It's
too.
kind of just stirring the pot a little bit, which we love.
Yeah.
Okay.
When we get around to it, before we leave, I'd like to read off and show the.
We'll get
my
into it,
books.
definitely.
Okay.
Definitely, 100%.
All right.
So I was just going to get to that. You got like multiple things coming up, right?
Yeah, I've got.
What's next? What's your next work? What's your next thing happening?
Well, I've got 3 collections. Another chapbook, which C22 Press, it looks like, is going to be doing.
Okay.
I mean, it's tentatively agreed that they will do.
All right.
And then I have tentative agreements with another press for 2 full-length books,
Okay.
which will come out in early 2027.
Wow.
If people, if people check in at David Earl Williams, Google David Earl Williams poetry, now and then or whatever, early in 2027, they'll find links to all this stuff, hopefully.
Wow.
But the first one is it's 29 pages and it's finished, completely finished.
Can finish.
Is
No, you're not going to tweak it in any way?
I think it's pretty done.
Okay.
Whatever. It's a lot of it is older work, but some of it is stuff that I've worked. It's called Jesus and his families and his friends and near equals, even if they doesn't like him so very much, and they really isn't nice and such as that. If our memories of all the stony rocks of ages thrown still serve. Absurdulation, Anti-Data, Jesus, Allah, Dada Poetry by David Earl Williams, The Absurdulation.
I like that. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. This is 29 pages, already done, and it's going to be distributed by
I think it's going to be C22 Press.
C22 Press.
Unless,
Excellent.
unless Rattle decides to give me $5,000, which they won't.
Well, you never know.
So-
You never know. Listen, never say never. That's what I always say. Anything's possible. Just ask Kevin Garnett. The Celtics won the championship in 2008, right? Anything's
Yeah.
possible. So now, when your work is completely done and gone, what type of footprints do you hope to leave as you go through this particular life?
Well, I hope. Well, I don't. Nobody is. The major presses are so. For the most part, they're so much into publishing stuff that's just really, just like. It's like dough that's come. Down at the pizza parlor,
Yeah.
it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Whatever pizza parlor
Very
you go
vanilla.
to.
You're trying to
it's
spice things up with
it's
what
the
you're
same
doing.
thing. They all have the same ideas. They all nobody says everybody is like going in one direction.
Okay.
And they're all patting each other on the backs for having the correct opinion and for parroting one another or whatever. And they think that's brave somehow or whatever. I don't get it, but it's just become, to be trite about it, it's the woke stuff, and it's taken over publishing, and it's really, it's boring.
It's absurd, ladies and
It's
gentlemen.
absurd. Yes, it's absurd.
So now,
So I hope my stuff goes to these places, which are good places, and it lives for a while, and it lives long enough so that it will be discovered by people who value it.
yeah, for sure. That's why you do it.
Because they're going to come around in about 10 or 15 years, and they're going to say, this is actually funny shit.
We love that.
This is right good stuff.
Oh, of course. So now, if your poetry were a person who was at a party just chilling, right, in a corner at a table, would they get kicked out? or would they be able to stay at the party?
Well, it depends. If it was a faculty party, they would probably be asked to leave.
Well, wait, I've been to faculty
Well,
parties.
I mean,
they're pretty good, depending on who shows up, of course.
Well, yeah, depending on if they have speech codes, I would be asked to leave.
Okay.
You know,
I understand. I understand.
if everybody needs to be there and infantilized,
Okay.
whatever, I would be asked to leave because I'm too young for that.
I think we all are.
I mean, the inner 13-year-old would just overwhelm me.
Oh, I get it. Okay.
You know,
All right.
I could not stay in that box.
So now, what kind of reader gets your humor best? And which do you secretly enjoy messing with?
Well,
the people who get it or the people who don't?
I think people who like alternative literature or whatever, and I mean, I borrow a little bit from the subgenius people or whatever. One of my books actually kind of borrows from them. Not that I'm a subgenius, but I'm a nearby subgenius. I'm a subgenius admirer.
Okay.
But yeah, that kind of thing, or whatever, where you're alternative literature, politics, all that stuff, or whatever, where people have a sense of humor and they value a sense of humor, and they are actually literate instead of just being box tickers, whatever.
Of course.
You know, and instead of doing circular notations of one another and having this little firing squad that keeps everybody in the loop.
Oh, yeah.
Which is what's happens in academia now.
Of course.
Or whatever, for most of it, or whatever.
Yeah, without a doubt. I agree 100% with that.
You know, if you enjoy Alan Sokol's
Then
stuff
there it is.
or whatever,
I like that.
there you be.
So, keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of his writing is funny and bizarre and biting and thoughtful, and he's got a lot of emotions, and there's a lot of things reflected in what he's doing. The hillbilly Dada stuff is really interesting as well. In his serious themes, and they're kind of told with a little bit of a wink, which I kind of love, because now, like, the reader has to kind of decipher exactly what it is he's trying to say, which is interesting too. In the historical chapbooks, there's some of those, right? We got some formats, right, and size. There's certain content, with like folk tales and ballads and religious things like that. The audience, you got a wide audience of folks. Also, people really couldn't afford full books, but those folks really kind of love the literacy and how it all grows together. Distribution is always good, and then you're talking about style.
Yes.
We're talking about, simple and direct and sometimes a bit off-center, which is what we love. And so that kind of gives us a little overview as to the insight, ladies and gentlemen, of David Earl Williams.
And very soon, in 2027, if you're into fake religions,
What do you got there?
or made-up religions
Or what's that?
about making sales.
Oh, I love it. So what do we got? It's
This
called...
is a full-length book. It's called Fragments and Excerpts from the Little Rectangular Blue Book of Bob II,
Okay.
or as Bob II was known before his elevation, a.k.a. Durwood DeWoody Jr., the Absurdulation, Prophet of Prophets, and Pestilences, and Fool's Goals, the pseudo verses, among other apocryphal odds and bits, lost sermons found, holy sidewalk graffitis, Gnostic words on fire, and et cetera, not to be confused with Chairman Mao's Little Red Book. Hillbilly Dada, anti-Dada poetry for sure as hell, rolling in the aisles, barking at the moon, screeching and PhDs, Dada dogmatic times.
Oh,
Written
my.
by old Bob himself, David Earl Williams.
Well, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. We like it.
See fine print inside for savings if you can find it.
Okay. We'll see if we can. All right? We'll see if we can. Now, I want to ask you one last question. Well, maybe a few more, but this one came to mind. So if you could have dinner with anybody, dead or alive, famous or not famous, actor, non-actor, athlete, doesn't matter who it is in the world, who would it be and why?
Jeez, boy, I don't know. I have no idea.
You have infinite choices. Infinite choices, David.
Yeah,
Who would it be?
maybe Whitman.
All right, Walt Whitman?
Sure.
Okay. Well, why Walt Whitman?
Well, because I think it'd be good company.
For sure.
If you're going to have a meal, you might as well enjoy yourself.
Okay.
The guy liked to talk,
All
and
right.
that would take the onus off of me.
Oh, I love it. Okay. All right.
He might even enjoy some of my stuff.
Walt Whitman. That would be an interesting conversation. That would be great. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. David Earl Williams, our guy, poet, publisher, all kinds of things he did. And he has a bunch of things that are coming out that'll be great. I want to thank you today, David, for sharing your voice, your humor, and your chaos. I love the organized confusion. Our listeners hopefully got something out of this episode, and hopefully they laughed a little bit, and maybe they took a little bit of a pause. Maybe they thought a little bit, and that is what Footprints is all about. We love the fact that you were here and really appreciate you coming and sharing your story with us.
That and royalties.
There it is. That and royalties. Well, I can tell by the clock on the wall, it's that time, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, thank you for hanging out with us here at Footprints. And I always leave you with this question: who left a footprint on you? I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.